Hi there, this is Joe from SquareXO, and this is episode 55. I'm joined by Dan.
Hello.
Becca.
Hello.
And Nicole.
Hello.
Okay, we're all here, so that's good. Good start. So, what's coming up today on the show? Let's find out. Today on the show, we've got the game news, as always. We've got a topic, which is about linear games versus open world games. We've got our user questions. We're going to talk about what we've been playing. We're also going to tell you all about our competitions. And then we'll talk about the games coming out in the next week or so. And then we'll wrap it up. And we'll probably find a few other things to talk about as well. So that's not all at all. But still, that's a summary. Okay, let's get on with gaming news. Okay, I know I realise I've forgot the intro again about
2 weeks in a row
and all that, but I'm going to do it at the end again. It was in my head to mention it all, but I'll do it at the end. It's fine. You know it all. You know where we are, but we'll do it at the end. Right, good. Glad we got that out of the way. Okay, so the news. Okay, the first bit of news I've got down here is God of War goes gold. So it's getting ready to print. It's going to be in time. It's not going to get delayed. We'll be playing it soon. Did anyone read or see any of the trailers, gameplay, read any of the previews or anything like that?
Not yet.
I'm going to be controversial and say I'm not really bothered about it. I haven't looked at anything else. I'm probably not going to buy
really
it.
Good.
So.
It looks really good. So I like the look of the action, but I like the way they've done it this time round with the story and stuff. It looks pretty awesome. But I mean, it's God of War. It's just what it is, isn't it? But it's just the type of game I like. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I've not played a God of War game before, so my opinion is probably wrong. But I've had a discussion on Twitter. I'm just something about it that just doesn't interest me. I don't know what.
Your opinion can't be wrong, Dan. That's the beauty of it being an opinion.
Yeah, true.
Something in it. Speaking of God of War, it's quite similar to Darksiders, so I just thought I'd mention. There's someone on Twitter. They're called Gamementary. I hope I got that right. But they're just quite new, I think. But they've done a Kickstarter to fund documentaries. And they've done one for Darksiders, and I've just kind of been sent it. I was going to just write a wee bit about it tomorrow after I've watched it, but it's got an hour and a half long. It's got successfully funded, and it's just basically a documentary all about how Darksiders was made. And I mean, so far, it's got cracking music, and it's really good production values. So I mean, if anybody's interested in just watching documentaries about how games are made, then that one's going live tomorrow on YouTube, and I think for what I've seen of it so far, because I've got it early, it looks awesome. So yeah, so that'll be live tomorrow. I'll link it tomorrow though, so you can all watch it because it's free, so you may as well.
Okay.
Is it official?
So
they had access to the development.
They're actually talking to the developers. It's all sort of properly filmed and really good production values, so they mainly talk to, from what I've seen so far, they're talking quite a lot to Airship Syndicate, which is the people who basically worked at Vigil Games before it shut down, and a few other developers as well, but just about the people who made the game and created it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really interesting to what I mean. I've only watched about 5-10 minutes so far, but it's just really interesting how so far they're just talking about what their inspirations were growing up for games and how they sort of came to be in the position they're in. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So yeah,
does sound good.
Okay, so that's Gamementary. So they're on Twitter. So if you follow them or something, then I think you'll get the link yourself. Otherwise, I'll tweet it out tomorrow, no doubt. Anyway, okay, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered is real, but it doesn't have multiplayer.
Gutted.
Yeah, so I'm not really that bothered. But hey, anybody who is bothered, there you go, there's the news. Ubisoft is safe from a hostile Vivendi takeover. This is quite interesting because Vivendi was sort of being hostile towards Ubisoft and trying to sort of buy them out. They owned quite a bit of them as well. I think they bought up 27.3% of Ubisoft at one point, and they were going to go for it with a sort of takeover bid, but for some reason it's all sort of cancelled itself out now, and they've sold their shares, I think. So they're obviously not want Ubisoft anymore. To be honest, if I had all their money, I wouldn't want Ubisoft either, but hey, that's a different story. I'm not
I wonder if they're trying by someone else instead.
Like take their money elsewhere.
Maybe. I don't know. Because Vivendi used to be in games, didn't they? I remember.
Yeah.
They were one of the publishers. They were one of the first publishers I dealt with, I remember. They were one of the first to give me games to review, and I had my own website. I remember that years ago, so I was quite a soft spot for them. But yeah. No. I mean, I don't know. I think, speaking of, because I just said I'm not really Ubisoft's biggest fan, I think one week we should do a topic talking about publishers and what ones we like and what ones we dislike.
Yeah.
And reasons why and stuff, because I've got things to say about Ubisoft.
Okay.
I'm sure you've said it before.
Probably, but I just... Okay, Cyberpunk 2077 is built with next-gen consoles in mind. So not this gen, next gen. But it's coming out next year, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they say it's built with the next consoles in mind, which is a bit bizarre. So
yeah. Well, is it bizarre? Because I think we're going to start seeing stuff next year, aren't we?
He says next-gen consoles... He says, this is the guy from CD Projekt. He said next gen hasn't been announced yet, so we can always speculate. But he's saying technology-wise, Cyberpunk is very advanced. Our technology is ready to interface with future generations. So in other words, what they're saying is the game is developed in such a way it can use very powerful future equipment. So there you go. But the way he says it is, this quote's a bit... the game is developed in such a way it can use powerful future equipment, but then he also says, but I cannot tell you more beyond that today, as no future generations of consoles have been announced so far, as if he knows something.
Yeah, well, yeah, they must have dev kits though, because we say the other week that PS5 dev kits are out.
Yeah,
so they've obviously got the kits for it.
See, this is why I don't really... I mean, because I just got buying consoles and I've have them all, obviously, but I don't have an Xbox One X. I've kind of resisted that one. But the reason I've resisted is because I know it's going to be an old console soon. I've got the PS4 Pro and I'm thinking, well, do I really want an Xbox One X? I've got the S. I'm quite happy with the S because for the amount I use it. I'm not going to go spend £430 just to get one that does really what the Pro does for the PS4, which is basically better graphics. It's not a new console. It's just one with slightly better graphics. So, I mean, it's too much an outlay, I think, just for that. Especially when you think in a year or two, if PS5's coming out next year or the year after, then you can bet a new Xbox is coming next year after as well. So, you'd be a fool there to spend £430 now, and 2 years' time, you're going to have to spend it again.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't even realise how expensive. I didn't know they were that expensive until yesterday, because I was out for a trip and I went to Argos. And my friend was looking at getting one for her boyfriend for Christmas this year. And she goes, I'm not paying that much. And obviously I didn't realise they were like £430, shows how much I know. But I looked at the price and I was like, oh my goodness, like that is just... What kind of money is that?
I'd advise against anyone buying a Pro or a Xbox One X at the moment, because I just think the new consoles is round the corner, and it just seems I'd say the S and the PS4 are good enough. Wouldn't you agree, Dan? I mean, do you really think the Pro? Do you really think you need it that much if you've got a PS4, or if you want to save a bit of money and just get a PS4 instead?
Well, for those two examples, it's not worth it. But if you've got the money or you've got a decent telly, then it is worth it. I think it's completely circumstantial. If you haven't got any consoles at the moment and you're going to go and buy one, I'd buy a PS4 Pro. just because it's the best of what you can buy at the moment in the world of PlayStation. That is.
Maybe.
No, but I'm just thinking, considering a new one might be just round the corner, maybe it's better just to opt for the cheaper one for now.
Well, I wouldn't. No.
I wouldn't either, but I just...
so you poo-pooing your own point. No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I like to have the best, but I'm just saying for anybody who's maybe think, no, I want to get into PS4 or whatever, or I want to just have a console at home sort of thing, but they aren't pure mega gamers. It might not be really worth just paying the extra. It might just be worth just having the sort of lower one for now. Because I don't think there's that much difference, but I don't know, maybe it's my eyes, but I just can't really
upgrade
see
your
much
eyes.
Difference. I can't really see much difference between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro when I play games. I'm playing, for instance, what was the last game I was playing? Burnout or something. I don't know, but anyway, whatever game I was playing, I played it down. I've got a 4K TV upstairs and I've got one downstairs now. But I've got the Pro downstairs and a normal PS4 upstairs. So when I play downstairs and then come up to continue my game upstairs, I can't say I notice a great deal of difference between the two.
I've never done a side-by-side comparison, so I'm not sure. But
yeah, but the fact that you'd have to do a side-by-side comparison kind of tells me that you don't need to be paying more money.
Yeah, I suppose.
And a lot of the time people do that, or I'll have to see them side by side so I can decide what one's better. Well, I mean, if you have to do that, then why bother?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that bothered about it, just buy the best one. If you look at both and you think, oh, I don't know, then just buy the cheaper one. Maybe that's a better way of doing it. Don't know. Anyway, where was I? Pixel Junk Monsters is getting a sequel this May. Yes.
Yeah, the first one was good, wasn't it? I like
the Pixel Junk games. I like Pixel Junk Monsters and Pixel Junk Shooter. That's a good game, isn't it?
I've never heard of them.
Have you not?
No.
Good.
I haven't either.
Cute games.
Thank God.
It was on the was it the Vita or the PSP Pixel Junk Monsters, the first? Because I remember playing it on holiday for hours and hours.
Yeah, it might have been on both. It's like a tower defense game, that one, sort of.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Pixel Junk Shooter as well, which is a sort of completely different. It's like a space shooter. That one where you rescue wee hostages, that's cracking as well. I think they do another one as well that's a racing game. Can't remember the name of that one.
But they've been quiet for a long time, haven't they? They haven't done much recently.
They've done Tomorrow's Children. That was their game.
Right.
Doesn't ring any bells.
But I don't know if many people played that. There was certainly a big deal about it, but I never tried it, to be honest. I don't know if any of you did.
No.
No, I didn't fancy it, to be honest. I never ever tried it. But they've done that, so now they're going back to what they're best known for. But I think it looks amazing. The trailer looks really nice. So, yeah.
It's coming to Switch as well, isn't it? I saw. Is that right?
I
think they are. So.
Yeah, so I think, that's right, because I remember tweeting them saying, it'll be great on Switch.
Yeah. That's kind of the perfect handheld game. If it's not going to be on Vita, then...
So this might be one I get for Switch instead of PS4. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, that's good news. System Shock is getting a remake still. It went quiet, and that's coming out in 2020. Again, that's a game I don't know much about. System Shock, I don't know else.
Same.
I've heard of it. It was a really old PC first-person shooter, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's probably why I don't know about it then, if it's PC, because I'm not a PC gamer, so. But it's news. Also, tickets for Eurogamer are on sale now, so if anyone's going, go get your tickets. Eurogamer Expo 2018, Birmingham, NEC.
Applied already. Hopefully, we'll get another press pass this year, and then we can go and cover it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's quite expensive now for tickets. I think I saw someone saying it's 27 quid a day or something.
Whoa! I didn't actually check because I just went straight to the press section, obviously. But Last year they were to buy a day ticket. It was £18 for a day ticket. So, but I mean the amount of stuff that's there. If you do get a chance to go there for the entirety of that day, you can get a lot of stuff done, and it's playing games that aren't out yet, and there's producers and developers there. So it's really like good opportunity if you do like video games that much. But yeah, it is.
Do you go to the party?
No, I didn't. I was too tired. But
what is that party? And what
it's
is
just like it's just like your standard club night, but it's like all video game themed. It's quite cool. It's meant to be quite good, but I think because I was obviously covering all 4 days and I was all on my own, I was just so exhausted by the end of the day. I think I fell asleep about 7 o'clock at night each night.
Because if you want to go to the party, it's like 15 quid, and then obviously
the party ticket.
You've got the day entry, which I'd read was 27.
Is there cake and a party bag? Because if there is, then that's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to
tip
know.
the scales.
You need to be 18 to go, so it's probably alcohol. But yeah, you can get a super pass, which has got 70 quid according to this year. But I don't know if you're a Virgin customer, you can get discounted tickets. I'm a Virgin customer, so that's good news for me. Although I would apply for a press pass if I'm going. I don't go for free. I wouldn't pay out that money. I don't have it. Luckily, my brother-in-law lives in Cannock, which is just up the road. So if I do go, I can stay with him. So yeah, so that's something, I suppose. Because obviously, a lot of people going for the UK might have to pay for somewhere to stay as well.
Like me.
Yeah. So exactly. So it can get.
Can't you sleep in the boot of your car?
I could now. It's a bigger car. Last year I had a smaller car. I could this year.
Okay. A few more bits of news. EA Vancouver's staffing up for a Star Wars open world project.
I saw that.
I think it might be, well, maybe it's like an RPG or something. But Star Wars themed could be quite good. I'd like that. And it falls in nicely with our topic as well that we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
Since it's open world. Okay, and the last bit of news, the charts. The entire 40, before I just tell you the way out of the charts, the entire top 40 this week sold fewer units than the single new release that arrived the same time last year, which was Mass Effect. So out of the entire top 6, which is, let me just say, 4 new entries in it, one game that came out at the same time last year sold more than all of them put together. So that kind of tells you something, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 this week, Sea of Thieves. Number 2, A Way Out. Number 3, Ni no Kuni 2. Number 4, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. They're all new entries. Number 5 is FIFA 18. Number 6, Burnout Paradise. 7, Grand Theft Auto. Yes, it's still there.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
We should start doing a weekly sweepstake where it's going to be in the chart.
What place will it be?
UFC's number 8.
It'll be our game.
Mario Kart's number 9. Super Mario Odyssey number 10. That's it. So yeah, that's quite interesting. It's quite interesting to see Sea of Thieves at number 1 because of the Xbox Games Pass.
Yeah, of course.
I think by the sounds of things, it's not really sold bucket loads. If Mass Effect managed to outsell the whole of the top 6, then it couldn't have sold a ton. But it's still done well to be number 1, considering.
Yeah, I think any exclusive game does well to get to number 1, doesn't it?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, well, considering A Way Out, I don't expect it to be a massive game anyway. But considering you could buy it Game Pass and not have to buy the game, it's still sold some units, and that's an achievement in itself. I mean, I've been playing it through using the Game Pass that I got for free, because if you hadn't signed up to Game Pass yet, you can get a 14-day free trial, so you could essentially play Sea of Thieves for free for 14 days. So I thought, well, I'll have some of that. And then
it's
someone
quite
gave
good
me
as
a
well.
Game Pass.
It's quite good because quite a lot of people I've seen on my Twitter feed, they've been holding off and actually buying the game as well, because obviously it's incurred quite a few issues in its first couple of days.
Yeah.
When was it out? Yeah. Well, so it's
I've been playing it.
So people are putting that on hold as well. So it's quite good that it's still there, regardless.
I've been playing it, so I can talk about it in a minute.
I'm excited actually to hear what you think about it.
Obviously got opinions on it. Yes.
Yes.
And that's the gaming news.
Okay, so we will move on to our topic now then, which is linear games versus open world narrative. And I guess the whole idea is that, what do you guys think about it? Do you prefer open world games? Do you prefer linear games? Does a game being open world or linear put you off it or make you less, excited to play it because of its structure? I know Nicole wants to say something about this, so I'll just say my piece really quickly. I used to actually hate open world games. I used to think that they probably didn't focus as much as on the story, and I really like games that have a in-depth and detailed story, sort of the story where you feel like you could be watching a movie. It's so interactive and intense. So my first open world game experience was The Witcher 3, and I don't think I really treated that game as an open world game. I really religiously stuck to the quest, and I wouldn't really very, very far away from the path. It would say, go to this village, so I'd go straight to that village, and I'd be like, oh, there's something over there, but I'm going to go straight to this village because that's what the game wants me to do. And then obviously Horizon Zero Dawn came out last year, and then I really got into open world games then. That's when I found myself being really immersed in it. And actually with Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm writing a piece about it, which will go up tomorrow, but everybody knows that I wasn't the biggest fan of the narrative because the whole thing seemed drenched in dialogue. And you got to a point where you were doing the story and you're like, please just shut up so I can go back into that amazing open world out there. And I think that that's what kind of tipped the scales for me. And now I definitely do like open world games and narrative linear games sort of at the same place. Obviously, there's some games where I can't imagine them being any other way. And there are some games where I'm like, oh, this would be a good game if it had a little bit of that open world narrative to it. And I was thinking about this in relation to one game that is the only game I've been playing, so I'm not quite sure whether to bring it up now or bring it up later, but I'll just touch on it a little bit now. But I was playing The Last of Us because I'm doing my dissertation on game narrative, so I thought I'll bring it up, I'll go back, I'll revisit it. And I was playing a section where you're in quite a wide area, but it's still very linear to the point where you know that that's the only way you're going forward, and The Last of Us is sort of a corridor of a game where you go down the corridor and you complete events and it gets to the end of the game. And I got to one point of the game and I was just walking around and I found like all these stores that were pretty much open. And I was like, this is cool. Like it's fun, going through all these hidden places where I'd obviously run straight past in my first playthrough. And I spent quite a bit of time just going through all the shops and looking through like these garden centers which had been lost and the bookstore and the music store. And I thought this is an amazing like little aspect to it. It would have been nice if The Last of Us was a tiny bit bigger, if you know what I mean, and you could have explored the desolation in a bit more effect. So for me, it's definitely a 50-50 thing. Like it doesn't put me off if it's narrative if it's linear or if it's an open world. I think that open world games have, a stereotype about them that they're more about the open world than the story, which I'm always very story biased. So I do like, if something's promised me an amazingly strong story, I'd go for that. But I really have started recently to enjoy big open world games, which I found quite weird because I thought I was so against them in the beginning. So yeah, I'm very 50-50. But I know you want to say a lot, Nicole, so I'll pass the baton to you.
Well, right. So I do dabble in both open world games and more linear games, and I do have a liking for both kind of approaches to game design. But I love playing a more mellow open world title like Skyrim, where I can follow a main quest line that hasn't got it's got a very broad story, and where I can take on a flurry of side quests that give me a deeper insight into that kind of really expansive lore. But equally, I love a linear game that's driven by a really good narrative, like The Last of Us, as she brought to light there. And also I'm a sucker for a platformer like Ratchet and Clank that all it asks is you get from like A to B with a growing arsenal of weapons or abilities, defeat a boss and move on to the next level. I love that kind of simplicity.
I didn't even think about that as like a linear narrative, but of course it is.
Yeah, it's really good. I like that because it's just easy to follow, and I feel like I'm making progress with games like that, and that's what I enjoy. Sometimes I like that element to games. But what I'm less in favour of is like games that suit a more linear style and begin as linear games to complement the narrative, but proceed to introduce these open world elements. And I'll bring an example I always bring to light, which is The Lost Legacy. it's great to indulge in kind of Naughty Dog's handiwork in that title, because it's graphically the game is stunning, and it annoys me though because it just feels a little unnecessary, because all these open world bits, they kind of draw focus from the story, I find, too much. And although they found quite a balance, because obviously it's Naughty Dog and they do some incredible work, although they did find a balance where they introduced a lot of kind of character development in these segments, I still found it was a little unnecessary and I didn't like it. And I mean, the same could be said of Rise of the Tomb Raider, where they kind of, obviously its predecessor had open world segments, but they didn't draw too much focus from the story. And I found in Rise of the Tomb Raider, where they really kind of opened up these segments, I completely lost track of the story by the time I'd returned to it. So if I go back to
that's how I felt about that game, actually.
Yeah, it's horrible, because I go back to the game now, I've got like no completion on it, because I left all the open world bits, because I was like, I want to focus on the story. It's a Tomb Raider game. Like, I want to see where it goes. And obviously I understand that obviously sequels and that need step-ups, especially in kind of ongoing game series and that. But I just feel that bigger isn't always better. And I find if you're going to introduce open world things and intertwine the linear and open world, you need to find a balance. So, yeah. I like both.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I understand the point, and I think we have touched upon it before, especially with The Lost Legacy, where it was kind of more unexpected. So if it was a new IP or something from Naughty Dog, then it may have jarred a little less, but it wasn't necessarily what fans of that series were expecting. So it was a bit more like, oh, hold on a minute, what am I doing? Why is it like this? I like Rebecca's point on The Last of Us, and I think it's almost, how do you define open world in inverted commas? Because I too really like The Last of Us for the fact that you could walk around the derelict office buildings and there'd be just empty spaces that were populated with items that that made the world feel real, but at the same time didn't make it feel massive. So I'd rather a game that was smaller but more dense in the exploration than just making a game massive and take 30 minutes to get from one side of the map to the other because they can. I think. But whether making a smaller, more densely explorative game is classed as open world, I don't think it is. So I don't know where that point kind of sits, if that makes sense. I think I'm not a massive fan of open world games because it normally means they're bigger and take longer to finish from a time point of view. So, and like you've both said already, the narrative does tend to suffer in an open world game. And I don't know, maybe a bit like what you say about Rise of the Tomb Raider. It almost feels forced because you're traveling to like a boss fight or to something like that, and then you bugger off for 4 hours like digging up for coins or something. I know games aren't real, but in the real life, like, bosses would have buggered off by then. So I know it's not, that shouldn't matter, but for me, I'd prefer a corridor of a game. But I like it if that corridor is full of things to look at and that you can go in, rather than just being.
They give you like a breather, don't they? Like they give you like a breather where you can kind of immerse yourself in the world as opposed to kind of get sidetracked completely, which is nice. Yeah,
I think so.
See, for me, I was, when I saw this topic, I was a bit stuck because I'm thinking to myself, well, I love narrative games. I love Uncharted and like God of War to extent, that's quite narrative driven. Darksiders is another one, but and at the same respect, a lot of the games I do like are open world as well as narrative driven. So like, because Darksiders you can go and wander off wherever you want, but it does have quite a lot of narrative in it. It does have quite a strong story to it as well. And same with God of War as well. I mean, God of War's more linear. I don't know about the new one, but I'd say previous ones were more linear. You kind of going along your path, and it was the same with Uncharted really in it. Whereas I like that because it keeps going. It's kind of, it feels like non-stop. It feels more like a movie. in that respect, that you just know there's just got to be action, then it'll be the end, and you'll be sort of sitting there going, wow. I like that, because I like that feeling, and I don't think you really get that wow feeling from bigger open world games like that same sort of wow. I was just in that. I was just kind of taking part in it. I think you kind of feel more like that with the story driven games. But the open world games give you a different feeling, I think. But I still think they're pretty great. I mean, Skyrim I absolutely love. I spent hours playing that game, and I probably played a bit like you. I never really went off the beaten path in that one. I played through start to end, really just doing the story, and it took me about 20 hours to complete that way, instead of doing many side quests. But then the great thing about that is, because of the type of world it is, you can then go back in and do all the things you never done. And I mean, you could easily spend another 20 hours, and it doesn't. Those little things don't really affect the main story generally in Skyrim, so you can go and do other stuff, and it's still there, and it doesn't matter about what you've done in the main quest. I quite like that. That was a bit like that Kingdom of Amalur as well.
It is, isn't it?
So that's quite a nice example, because that's a big open world game. It's got narrative in it, but like you said, like Dan said, it does lose its appeal a little. Like the story loses its appeal. It loses. What did you say? It loses some
the
of
realism,
its
I
impact.
suppose.
Yeah. It loses some of its impact. The story, I agree there, when it's a big long game. But as to which one I like, I kind of think I'm 50-50 as well.
Yeah, I thought we all might be.
I like games like Uncharted and stuff, but I love games also like Skyrim and stuff just as much, but in a different way. Both types of games give me different. Don't know the word I'm looking for, but they give me different experiences and different sort of feelings at the end of them.
Yeah, because I quite like playing for a purpose. So if I'm playing a game, I like to finish the story. Obviously, not bringing trophies into it. I like to complete games. I like to see as much as I can and kind of get the full experience. And sometimes with an open world game, I feel like there's no point to it. It's a bit like why I don't play FIFA, or I don't tend to play many sports games, because I don't see the point in playing a match of football and then playing another match and then another match, because I don't feel like I'm finishing, if that makes sense.
It never ends.
Yeah, kind of. And I think that's possibly where it's hard to articulate it, but that's where the crossover for me with open world, where I don't say I don't like them as such. I think dependent on the game, I do like them, but for me, it just adds to the game something that I don't feel adds value to me, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we're all agreed it's probably 50-50 mostly.
Yeah, more or less.
I think so.
Nice one.
We move on then. But thanks for listening.
let's move on from that one then.
Okay.
It'd be good to hear everyone else's thoughts. Sorry, Nicole.
Yeah, it would. I like that. I think when we do a topic on the podcast, it would be really nice for people to just say what they think underneath the post we put up on SquareXO. I think that would be like a nice thing, just to hear what everyone has to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we do get quite a lot of people involved with like the questions as well, don't they? Like everyone kind of responds to each other's questions. I like that kind of element. Yeah, I like that. It's nice. So it'd be good if everyone kind of gave their thoughts on our topics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, ready to move on?
We are.
Okay, so it's time for our user questions. Our first question this week is from Jack Croxall.
Who is this guy? He's like a stalker, isn't he?
Right. He asks, what disappointing game do we feel has the scope for a much improved sequel? He thinks himself that Yooka-Laylee could have an amazing sequel given the developers listen to the feedback of the fans. So with that, I'd like to go first with this one because I share that same kind of it's my one as well. I I think they can make a fantastic sequel of it. It was my most disappointing game of last year, even in spite of my initial buzz for it. I think Yooka-Laylee was rooted some really good ideas. It had great characters, great settings, and it was a shame it just felt that was implemented in such an unpolished and budget game, which obviously I understand it was, but even so, it would have been nice to dress it up like it wasn't. Obviously, with games like kind of Crash and Ratchet & Clank and the hype for the upcoming Spyro Trilogy remake, there's obviously a market for the light-hearted platformers still. And I feel that Playtomic could really kind of develop a gem of a sequel if they take on board the feedback from the Yooka-Laylee flop.
Was Yooka-Laylee kickstarted?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
So would people commit more money to them to make a sequel? That would be my issue. Well, it's not an issue. That would be my thought. I don't think we'd see a sequel because I don't think people would fund it.
No.
Yeah, that is a concern. But
yeah.
Sorry, what about Nick. You guys?
Just crush your dreams there.
Literally, yeah, all dreams crushed.
It's a bit of a tough one, isn't it? What disappointing game do you think has scope for a much improved sequel? Because, I mean, if it's a disappointing game, generally it doesn't get a sequel.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I guess for you, like, was there something that, a game you found disappointing that they could sort of, get your attention back with the promise of a sequel that was better?
I've got a couple of answers, I suppose. So whilst you think, Jay. So, well, obviously everyone knows probably that I'd say Horizon because I didn't enjoy it, but I think the world and that could be good. But I think, and I wasn't disappointed by it per se, but the Order 1866 or whatever that number is.
Something
yeah.
1886.
Yeah. See, I think that was a really good game.
Well, yeah, that's a good
harshly treated, but critically it didn't do too well. But the world that it created and the characters, I think there's something in it. I think they could do something much better. But again, like with Yooka-Laylee, I don't think they'd be given the time or the money to do it because it wasn't a critical success. So I think the problem is that it is like Joe says, it's quite rare that a game that maybe doesn't sell well or score well then gets given a sequel, unless it's knack.
Okay, let's not touch upon that.
I mean, because I absolutely loved Mag. I don't know if anybody remembers.
I remember it. Yeah, I know.
thought that was I've spent hours playing that game. I don't really play online shooters, no me, but I really liked that one. I thought it was excellent. So I mean, that's kind of one I think was ahead of its time. So maybe games like that were ahead of their times and never really got appreciated at the time would be ones that would be good for having sequels. Because that definitely was ahead of its time, 100 or 256 players or something like that on PS3. It was crazy, but it is. I do think, I think games that are ahead of their time. I can't think any others. There was one you mentioned there I agreed with, the Order 1886. I agree with that as well, because I think that's definitely got scope.
So you could also, I wasn't disappointed by it, but No Man's Sky was another one that kind of got bashed and didn't do too well critically, but they've kind of updated over time. So they could possibly release a sequel, but I don't know, for that it's probably not worth releasing a sequel. They could probably just re-release the game. But the name is probably so badly burnt that would people buy it?
I don't think they would.
You could probably add Drive Club into that as well then, even though that studio's shut down now, but that's definitely one of those games that was disappointing when it released. But I mean, a year later, it's almost like a sequel. It's that good.
It was I really liked Drive Club actually. The actual driving and the engine of the game was solid, wasn't it? It was just the implementation of it. Again, probably before its time.
Yeah. So I mean, you could probably add Sea of Thieves in as well. I know it's only just come out, but so they did quite a disappointing game.
I'm so excited to hear what you think of it.
Some respects,
but building it up.
I'd say that's certainly got potential for sequel. Well, let's just finish the game first, and then we can talk about sequels.
What about you, Rebecca?
I don't know if I have anything that was, critically received to be disappointing. I have a few personal disappointments where I'd like to see them redone. So if that was in the eyes of a sequel, then I wouldn't be opposed to playing again. Mm-hmm. I didn't really enjoy Prey, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
And I think there were a lot of things that, not just myself, a few people in the community and a few, critics said, there's issues with this, it needs to be redone. I had a lot of issues with not only, how the game works, but I had a lot of issues with it not being like patchy, and it would, I'd have the screen would freeze and my character would like just fall through the floor, and I was like, okay, this feels unfinished. And I think even though the conclusion of that game sort of doesn't really set them up in a place where they could do a sequel, if they did a sequel and then, promised that all of that would have been ironed out, I think I'd definitely be tempted to take a look. But obviously Prey wasn't too negatively received. It got about, I think it got 79 on Metacritic, so it did quite well for itself. And I think if a sequel were to come out, I don't think I would jump on the bandwagon to play it. I think it would be a sort of thing of I'd need to see other people play it. I'd need to hear people from the community, what their honest thoughts are, read what critics say. But I really liked the concept of it, so I feel a little bit disappointed that it wasn't what I wanted it to be. So yeah, if they did a sequel of that, then it basically was like my perfect game in that setting, then I'd definitely be interested in picking it up again and playing through. But I don't know, from where it ended, I don't know if they could bring it back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Righto. Right, so our second question is from Rude Cold, who asks, what's the longest we've gone without gaming? He says every time he goes on holiday, he gets PS4 withdrawals.
Well, buy a PS Vita and
take it with you.
With you. That's what I do.
Really? I didn't even get that. Mine was when I went for a 2-week trip to Cyprus as a kid. I remember being so excited to get home, to turn on my Game Boy SP and evolve my Golbat into Crobat and Pokemon Ruby. Do you want to know how happy I was? Because my mum told me specifically I couldn't take it on the plane because it would interfere with the plane. And I was like, obviously as a gullible child, I was like, yeah, of course I won't do that. And after I got home, it was because she didn't want me to be ignorant the whole holiday. So, but I got the Crobat, so it was well and good. But I feel the pain for holidays. Anyone else?
I feel like mine is my life now. Like, I'm so busy with university work that every time, basically the way I work is that my desk is obviously, it's right in front of the window, and then right next to my desk, I can literally put my hand on it, is my PlayStation. So I'm working and I'm like, oh, I really want to play PlayStation, but I know I can't because I need to do my work. So aside from today, where I thought I probably should play something so I have something to talk about and what you've been playing, I haven't touched my PlayStation in at least 2 weeks.
Oh,
maybe
my
a week
gosh.
and a half. And I hate it, but I know that if I turn it on and really get into something, I'm just going to lose an entire day of productivity. So obviously Far Cry comes tomorrow. I'm going to have to play Far Cry because I'm reviewing it. But 2 weeks up until today is the last time I played it. So I played it about an hour ago, but yeah, it's just been staring at me for the last 2 weeks. Like, play me. Don't do your work. Play me.
I think for me, after I finished sort of working, when I left my last job, like doing it for a living, then I was a bit burnt out with it, and I just don't think I played the game for a few months, really. Because I think I'd done it for 10 years or whatever, constantly, but 30 games a month, and I was just like, I can do it. I think I still done videos and stuff, so I must have still played some games, but I don't think I played them as much as what I normally would. Just because I needed a break from it. I just needed a refresh, I think. And I think that was good. Because when I did, I was more excited to play them again rather than just doing it for the sake of it.
What about you, Dan?
Well, like I say, I'd take a handheld with me on holiday.
Dan's prepared.
Yeah, but I tend to play more on holiday than probably what I do when I'm not on holiday, just because of life. So at least like on a holiday, we tend to go on a cruise ship. There's not much to do, so you can just sit by the pool and just play for like all day or a few hours here and there. So yeah, I don't know, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I don't feel like I get much time to play in everyday life at present. I just seem to be forever busy or looking after the dog or doing this, that and the other. So I did go through a phase where I didn't play at all for about a year maybe, just because of work again. I just didn't have time, so I couldn't play, so that was rubbish. But like you said, like Joe says, I think sometimes you can play too much and you do get a bit bored of it. And
it's like eating your favourite food every single day of the
Yeah.
week. By the end of the week, you're like, I hate this food.
I suppose the good thing with games is that it's constantly evolving. There's constantly new titles, so you're not, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy new games, you're not playing the same game over and over again for years and years. There is a diverse experience, a bit like with films. Like I can't really watch the same film over and over again unless it's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So it's nice to then have other films that you can
Just
watch.
waiting, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just life sometimes gets in the way. But it's always there. Like if I probably was still reading games magazines or looking at the news and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if you're going on holiday, Sean, just buy a Vita or a Switch. But you won't use your Switch, so I'd recommend a Vita still, even though there's no games or no new games. Yeah, cool.
Okay, right. So our next one is one for you and Joe. You and Joe, right? Dan and Joe.
Dan and Joe.
Get that
Ewan?
right? Okay. Dan and Joe. It's because you were
Who's
speaking
the
last time, so
mysterious
that's who I was
person?
referring to here. But yeah, right. So because you haven't played Burnout, have you, Rebecca? Just so I'm not being rude here. Okay, right, cool. So at House34 asks, why you guys think EA haven't made a decent follow-up to Burnout Paradise, and what makes you think the game is so good? Personally, he loves the game's simplicity and describes the remaster as magic. So off you go.
I agree with it being magic. I think it's brilliant. The great thing about remaster is it's another one of these games that's ahead of its time. So they didn't need to do too much to it. It just kind of fits in with sort of the way games are now. So even though that's from 360 PS3, it feels like a PS4 game, just gameplay wise, just because of how it's fast paced, it's action. It is, I like that word, simplicity, because it's one of these games you could just sort of sit back and just hit the accelerate button and just drive along. You can either go on your races and try and be competitive, or you can just cause chaos and watch as your car crumbles as you crash off everything, or you can go off and just find billboards to crash through or fences. That's what I just love about it. I just love there's so many elements to it that you can do. You can explore, you can race, you can just crash, and it's just really good. Why they've not made a remaster is beyond me, to be honest, and not a remaster, a sequel. It's beyond me, but I think it probably comes down to Need for Speed. I think they've probably put their eggs in the Need for Speed basket, and I don't know why. But
I wondered if it's Need for Speed's possibly easier to monetize, or to add loot boxes to, or whatever you call them.
They do have money. They do have movies of Need for Speed, don't they?
Yeah.
There's movies, and there's probably merchandise or whatever. I don't know what there is, but I know
it's licensed as well, isn't it? Whereas Burnout isn't.
Exactly. So maybe they've just went down the Need for Speed road and thought, well, if we've got Need for Speed, we don't need a Burnout as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But maybe what they should do is just leave Need for Speed, because it's a yearly thing, Need for Speed, isn't it? Maybe
if they flip it between them, they'd be a bit more successful nowadays, because I haven't seen a really successful Need for Speed since like back on PlayStation 2. So
exactly, so you never know. I imagine Burnout Paradise sold pretty well, so if it has, maybe that's them testing the water. Maybe they're going, well, if this sells well, we can then make a new one, and they can maybe score it in a year.
What could they add though to it that Paradise doesn't have?
No, but they would I don't know.
Licensed
they would
cars.
just make it for this generation, because it's not really, even though it's sort of seems to fit in well, the old game being remastered, they can still improve things and make it new and stuff like that, can't they? They can still bring it a new Burnout game and just got to bring out new.
It's just it is such a good game already that it's a hard act to follow.
It is a hard act to follow, but then if you think the way they've done it, they used to have Battlefield every year, did they not? And then they sort of changed it, and now they have Battlefield, then they have Battlefront, and then they'll have Battlefield again. So maybe that's their plan. Maybe they're going to do Need for Speed, and then Burnout than Need for Speed again. It might be sort of going that way. Because if it works for the other shooters, maybe they're thinking, oh, well, we can do it with the races as well. Don't know. Hopefully. I would like to see a new one, but I'm quite happy with Burnout Paradise, so I'm not in any rush now.
Yeah. I haven't got the remaster yet. I would like to get it.
Yeah, it's worth getting. It's really good.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Right, so Round 2 Go Gamer, or as we know him more formally, Joe Robinson, asked if we could make a video game, what kind would it be? So I'm presuming he means genre here, so I'm going to keep it simple and just say I'd make a platformer of sorts. Because, yeah, I like platformers.
I don't really know. See, I like the post-apocalyptic genre, but I do think that I've got to a point now where there's probably too many installments to it. So, just trying to think. I like stuff like Journey and Abzu. I'm not really sure what you'd class them as. Relaxing.
Emotional, colourful.
Just something you can play and you're just like, oh, this is so peaceful. And I like stuff like that. And I know there's stuff like Flow and there's Flower, and then obviously there's Journey and Abzu, which I have. But I'd like to see something a bit more like that. Maybe, a little bit more filling in that genre, if you know what I mean. But I would not know what to call it. Let's have a look.
Sorry, Dan, you go.
I got a couple thoughts. So I'd quite like, and I've said it before, Rocksteady to make a Wonder Woman game. But I just think that would be good. I think they could do something with the character and the story, because the Batman games are awesome, but we've had enough of them now. Like, you don't want to keep doing Batman games because people get bored. So why not? Wonder Woman was a really successful film. It's good, again, a good character. There's a good world there, good backstory. So that could be quite interesting. But what I'd quite like to do is take people to places that they can't go in real life, whether it's with VR or just through stunning 4K graphics. But maybe send like a 3D camera around around Chernobyl, or kind of derelict power stations or derelict bunkers, and then just have games that are a bit like walking simulators where you can just travel around these forgotten places or places that you can't go. I think it would be really just interesting. Not necessarily be overly narrative driven, not be open world, obviously, but just something that you could just explore. So I suppose like a cross between Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and real life.
Yeah,
I think it would be awesome.
They do have VR games that do that, but it's for more sort of exotic locations. I think, like beaches and stuff.
But you can go to a beach as a human,
No, but it's like it's sort of over the world, sort of world exploration. So it's not necessarily just beaches, but they might be like North Pole in there or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think just something like that expands your horizons. So it would be, I don't know, just something about Chernobyl.
I like that song.
Yeah, so that would be my thoughts, Mr. Robinson.
Give away my ideas here, right? I've already said this idea before, but I'd like to make a sort of Uncharted and space style game. So I guess we're talking Star Wars really, but I'd like, just when it comes to the space fighting part, to just be able to put on your VR headset, play that, take it off again, and then go and play the rest of the narrative-driven game again. I like that idea. I think that's really
sounded good when you mentioned it before, and it sounded really good. So
I've also got another idea for a game which I'd love. This is a more complex one, right? It would be, now say you've got like a Street Fighter style game, but fantasy. So you fight with swords and magic and stuff. So like think Skyrim, but Street Fighter. So and you can level up.
Calibur.
Yeah, but sort of, yes, but you can level up, right? So you start in your sort of normal level, and then you level up and you'll get stronger, and you can nick other people's equipment and stuff so that you can, or any money you can spend in the shop so that you can buy equipment and make your character more powerful, get better spells and all that. So you sort of evolve in the game rather than just choosing the character who's always the same and fighting against each other.
Yeah,
good idea.
I like that. And then, but the good thing is it would then expand out, so it would actually be an open world game. So that bit you're doing the Street Fighter things in the arena, so it's like 2 games in one. So you're doing that, not fighting, and then you can go out the arena, and all of a sudden you're in like a Skyrim type world, and you go on your story and do your exploring and stuff. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the arena would be a completely different game, a fighter. That's all, where you can evolve and level up. You can maybe even go in there from the open world and level up by doing some fighting and stuff. But I'd also, the other cool element to it is I'd quite like to have an online aspect. So instead of having an online shooter, you have an online fantasy fighter. So like you sort of team up, you're in swords and you've got wizards and stuff on your side. Does something even like that exist? Something that's an online game but isn't a shooter? What has proper matches and modes, like a Battlefront or a Call of Duty, but with fantasy.
What was that multiplayer game that came out last year? Was it For Honor?
Yeah, but that's not really the same, because that's more like knights. But I just I just want a fantasy version. I know you get World of Warcraft and all that, but it's not really the same, because I just mean like a World of Warcraft is like a sort of fantasy game where you can all probably team up and fight each other, but it's not really the same as like a console style multiplayer, like Call of Duty or whatever, where it's timed matches and stuff. I just think that would be amazing. Like, being able to just go in teams, go as a wizard or a healer or barbarian rangers and all that, and you can all just do close combat, but you can also have your archers and stuff. I think that would be awesome. I'd love that. That would be really good. Why has no one thought of that?
Maybe someone listening will steal that idea and make
it.
Genius idea. So it is.
Missed your opportunity now. Sold it to someone else.
I know. I like giving away my ideas. I'm full of them, so I've got hundreds of ideas, so it doesn't matter. That one's for free.
Right.
Unless you make it and then I want royalties.
Right. So, Sean One Neo asks, what is needed to make a good game in our opinion? It's quite a vague question, and I'm sure we'll end up kind of overlapping between us, so maybe we could use it as a discussion topic at some point. But for now, I'll narrow it down by saying maybe you'll just give one feature that we think makes a game good.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Personally, soundtracks tend to make a game for me. I love it when I come away from a game and I'm humming one of the soundtracks from a level or something. Like, it's the same with Ratchet and Clank. Like, every time I hear the music, I just want to play that game, and for me that indicates that the soundtracks made it a good game. So
yeah, good answer.
Story for me every time. Story. Nothing beats the story. That's the biggest feature for me. That's number one.
Yeah. I'd say story too, but as you've taken it, I'll say controls.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
nothing's annoying like really frustrating controls.
No, or unresponsive controls, or where you're trying to, you've got to stand near something to pick it up, but you've got to be in such a specific position to be able to pick it up that it just becomes frustrating. So kind of like user interface and controls are quite important, because there's nothing worse than sat there getting frustrated with a game that's quite good, but the controls are just shocking. So, and because Joe's already said story and you said soundtrack, so I'll go with controls.
What about you, Rebecca? You the short straw here.
I guess it's sort of a subplot of the narrative, but I like it when there's a big, like, shocking moment or reveal in a video game. So I think that Little Nightmares is absolutely flawless for what it did with its 2 big shocking reveals in both the main game and the DLC, and it's things like that just stay with me hours after I finish playing the game, and I'm like, I did not see that coming, and I'm completely shocked. Like, I played Little Nightmares, got to a scene, which I'm sure a lot of people know which scene I'm talking about, and I had my mouth, like, just my jaw just dropped for like 5 minutes. I was so shocked. I was like, that is so clever. So I like a big wow moment, I guess you'd call, which sort of fits into the narrative.
I like that. That's good. Right. So Sean also asks, how we all manage our time between work, studying, gaming, socializing, being on the SquareXO site, etc., using like a percentage format. Now, I don't know if you got the tweet for how he was like laying this out, because I've worked mine out. Has anyone else done that?
I've worked mine out, yeah.
I've seen it, but I can tell you now that sort of work, in term work, I'm talking work, I'm just talking about things I'm trying to do to make my life better. So work, I'm going to include work and family and all that in the one thing, I think, and just basically life. And I'd probably say that takes up 80% of my time, if not more. Games, website, what was the other things he said? Games, website, Twitter,
social interactions, yeah.
Twitter,
yeah,
probably,
that's socializing, isn't it?
Yeah, Twitter and that probably takes up about 10% of my time. So I'd say the website and playing games is probably only makes up about 5% of my time, if that. Most of it, the majority of it, is life. So family,
Yeah,
life.
Work,
that's so poetic.
everything like that.
Anyone else?
Mine's very similar to that, Joe. Mine is, although hopefully it won't be like this much longer. Mine's 80% university work, because I'm my third year of university. Then I'm final year. I've currently got a 9,000 word dissertation, 3,000 word dissertations to write, and then a 2,000 word take home exam to do, all due in the same week of May. So I just have to like write all the time now for university work. And then when I'm not writing for university work, the 10% of that 100% of my time is taken up by SquareXO. So obviously I still do my Tuesday articles when I can. I've had to miss a few, which not made me very happy, but hopefully get back to that soon. 5% gaming. Like I said, I haven't been gaming for a while, but obviously Far Cry comes out tomorrow, so I'll pick that back up again. And then 5%, or possibly even less of that, social interactions on Twitter, because like Joe said, the majority of my time has just been taken up by getting this dissertation and these essays done. I don't really have time to tweet stuff out anymore, interact. I'll put something up every now and again, like, this is happening tomorrow, I'm excited. And then I sort of just forget I've tweeted it. And then at the end of the day, I'll go back and reply to everything. But I really hope that once this uni work is done, it can, those lower levels of 10, 5, and 5 can jump back up a little bit, because I'm not enjoying all this stress that I'm enduring for university right now. It's not very fun.
What about you, Dan?
I'm going to mirror everyone else, really. I probably work 80% of the time, but that's work. I wouldn't say that's life as well. That's just literally sat working. Then I've got 10% life, 5% game, 5% social. I don't know. 6% game, 4% social at the moment.
You're going to shake it up, Nicole.
So, yeah, I'm just busy.
Mine's quite like different to everyone else's, because obviously I don't have as demanding kind of like work hours. So mine's like 30% work. So I am
want to swap lives.
Yeah, it sounds
wish
fun.
I could. I get like 35% gaming, because I do, where I work evenings, I kind of game before work, go to work, come home, game some more. So I do game a lot around my work as well. 25% socializing. So that's like kind of, I include that as like kind of social media, family, seeing my other half, going downstairs and playing with the dogs and so forth. And I'd say kind of 10% I look to do SquareXO related stuff. I'm either like, jotting down notes or planning something for the site. I try, because the whole idea of me having 30% work at the moment is because I'm trying to weigh up kind of future ambitions and the fact that I have quite flexible work hours at the moment. So I'm trying to make the most of that at the moment. So I kind of feel like I've really thrown it up in the air. You guys do this work.
I'm so jealous of your life.
God, I have it quite sweet. I think I need to rethink when I get down now.
Yeah.
See, I like my 80%. I like life, like the good parts is spend time with family and all that. I wouldn't do it. I think that's the most important thing for me. Like, spend time with family and just sort of try to enjoy yourself rather than just games all the time. Games for me is just a hobby. I enjoy it. It's no like obsession or anything. It's just something I'd rather just do for fun and for relaxing. And I think I'd rather if I had to choose, I'd certainly choose family every time. If you know what I mean, I'd certainly choose to go and do other stuff outside and stuff like that. But although games is important, it's not really top of my priorities. But I think that's probably the same case with anyone as you get older.
Yeah, I think a lot of my problem as well is my socializing is kind of it's quite low because of my work hours are quite unsociable in the fact that whenever I returns home, I'm setting off. So like I'd see my sister perhaps once or twice a week, and she lives in the same house as me. So because she's doing like 9 to 5 and I start at 5, so it's kind of that's where it kind of balances. But anyway, right,
it gets difficult.
It does. But yeah, thanks to everyone who asked questions, and I'll try and ask the question about the questions earlier in the week next time. I'll put out the tweet a bit earlier. So with that, I will hand over to you, Dan.
Cool. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk about what we've played. So I suppose going off the back of what we've all just said, I've played very little, although I did have some family up at the weekend and we played Knowledge is Power. Which I've not played for quite a while.
Game.
Yeah, it's really good actually.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I told you so that, didn't I? Way back.
Yeah, years ago.
You should try that for you, Wink.
Yeah, it's good. I did enjoy it. And it's just easy to play when you've got people of different gaming abilities or even different knowledge levels. It's just quite a nice game to play. And I wasn't on the podcast last week either, was I? Because I've been busy. So I've also been playing Batman Telltale Season 2, which is really good as well. So I'm just waiting for the new one. The new episode, or the next episode's out tomorrow, I think, the last episode.
I think I've got 2 to play or something, or 3.
Oh, right.
I can't remember how many I'm behind. I think it's 2 I'm behind, including tomorrow's.
Right. Yeah, it's really good, though. I think it's probably the best... For me, anyway, the best Telltale series. It seems really stable. It crashes very little in that sense. The gameplay engine's pretty solid as well when you're walking around and doing things. It's good. And there's a nice balance of narrative and then detecting or doing. So it's not just all one thing. It's good. And it's quite easy to play when you've had a demanding day at work. You can just come back and press buttons rather than having to get good at it. You can just sit there and play through it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
It was like a relatively quiet week for me compared to last week. I played loads. This week I've played probably a couple of games. I played Rascal Revolt, which is a PlayStation Talents game. This has got a program in Spain. Rob's talked a lot about it, but basically they take failed Kickstarters and sort of give them the chance to they give them funds and then they go, right, away, go make your game. And without funds, they can pay for marketing and then they can pay for development, spend it how they want or whatever. And quite a lot of indie games is coming out of this program now. Rob's reviewed an absolute ton of them. And I reviewed this one, Rascal's Revolt. So yeah.
Cool.
It's a bit, what happens in it is it's like a theme park gone wrong, basically. And it's a co-op multiplayer shooter, and you have all these pinatas running at you, and mad clowns, and bears that hug you and won't let you go. So you need to try and escape their grasp. And there's all these sort of mini games for you to play. And if you win 3 of them, you face the main boss, and he's got a really Nintendo name. I can't remember what it was now.
Mario.
No, it's something that you would probably, even though Flavio. His name is.
Okay.
But
right, it's quite Mario-esque, yeah.
Or Flario or Flavio, something like that. I can't remember, but something like that. And he's a big dragon, which kind of reminds you of that other boss in Mario. I can't remember his name now. What's he called?
Bowser.
Aye. He's not a dragon, though, is he?
He's like a turtle, isn't he?
It's like a dinosaur thing, yeah.
Yeah, but it's sort of, I don't know, it reminded me of Mario anyway, and it's quite a colourful game. It's only on PlayStation, but it's quite fun for what it is. I mean, read my review, you'll find out more. And I've been playing Sea of Thieves as well.
Yeah, tell us about Sea of Thieves.
I'm
really excited to hear what you think.
Where do I begin with this one? There's let me start with positives, and that there's something about it that sort of, I mean, I've not been playing with other people because I can't
Oh,
abide
right.
to be doing that. I tried that in the beta, and they just threw me in jail because they never knew who I was, and I just had to sit in the jail waiting. So I thought, oh, so that. So and I can't bored
nice,
with all
yeah.
these. I can't bored with all these random people screaming and acting like idiots. Anyway, I just can't be dealing with that, because when a lot of time when you play with random people, they're all screaming down the mic, and I end up muting them all anyway. So like, I don't really enjoy that. I prefer to play Moan. So I've been playing Moan. I've not really done in a lot of troubles that other people have been having when they've been playing on their own, is they've been away gathering treasure and they've been playing the game for about 3 hours or whatever, and then this group of people come along, sink them, and take all their treasure. So 3 hours will be like down drain. And I've seen quite a lot of people complaining about that, saying, "Oh, well, if I like playing Moan, why should I be forced to play in a server with all these other people who are just going to come along and steal my stuff? What if I just want to play in my own and not bother with anybody else coming along and sinking me?" That's what I quite like about the game. I mean, I've not had this issue personally, because my tactic is to find a treasure, go back, sell it, and then go do my next one. So rather than storing them all up, which is kind of asking for trouble in it. So the way I've been doing it, it's a more score way of doing it and a more grindy way of doing it, because it takes forever, but it works better that way if you don't want to get sunk. But what's really annoying about the game is that it feels like a free-to-play game. It feels a quarter finished, I think it's fair to say. It's been in development for 4 years. None of the NPCs have any dialogue whatsoever. It's all just writing. There's no real voice acting in it. It's all very basic feeling as well when you speak to the NPCs.
That's typical Rare, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what they do, or they have done. It
just feels basic when you talk to the NPCs, and then just the whole game feels basic. I mean, the sailing and some of the graphics is amazing, really. The water effects is fantastic. I really enjoy the sailing aspect. I think that's what hooks me in, the sailing, just because it's just quite relaxing and you don't need to think too much about it. So it's quite nice in that aspect, but it does nothing. You'll get a mission where you'll have to go get chickens and take them to a different island. So you'll do that and they'll give you gold. Another type is that you'll go and raid a fort or whatever, and you'll do that, they'll give you gold, or you'll go and hunt for treasure, dig it up, take it back, sell it, and they'll give you gold, and that's it. So you've got this gold, right, and you're thinking, oh good, I've done that, I've got the gold, what can I use my gold on? Oh, you can buy a new hat, you can buy a new paintwork for your boat, but that's it. There's nothing there. It's completely empty, and it's after a while of going through one island, after 5 hours of going from one island to another, getting the treasure, going back, selling it, you're thinking to yourself, it's boring, because it's just a really boring game. And I'm just really disappointed that 4 years in development, it feels a quarter finished.
It sounds a bit like No Man's Sky syndrome.
Yeah, it is. A lot of people have said that. It's got the Xbox version of No Man's Sky. I kind of agree. It's kind of like that. But it's just really disappointing, because Microsoft's just done it again with its hyping things up, and everybody believes it and goes, oh man, it must be the greatest thing ever. And then they're all... How long have I been saying this in the podcast about this game, that after I don't see a lasting appeal? I think I've been saying that quite a few episodes, and I think I'm right, because even the Xbox fans are saying it now. So a lot of them will obviously think, they'll say to me, oh, you're bashing it. And then they're starting to agree with me now, because I'll just be honest about what I think of games all the time. That's just what I am. I'm just honest about it. And I think I'm right this time, because it's just disappointing. And it's a shame, because I like it. It's, like I say, there's something about it there. It's got potential. But it's just a shame. And I'm not just pointing at Rare or here. I'm pointing at most game developers these days. I think even one of our followers, I think it was No Fate, he said he was talking about it himself, that sort of thing, and he mentioned about the game, and he's just going, oh, these days the games just don't seem to be finished until a year later. He's kind of right. It's not just Rare, it's everybody.
I don't think that's the developer's fault, though, is it? It's the publisher's fault for pushing stupid release dates or not funding for enough staff or stuff like that.
If you've been working in a game for 4 years, it should have more to it than it's got. It's not good enough. Think of things like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I mean, I know we get a bit fed up with that, but there was things in that. It's the
But I bet the team was like 5 times as big as the team at Rare.
Maybe, but we don't know that. But the fact is,
Rare's tiny in comparison to Nintendo.
Yeah, they're a lot smaller than what they used to be. But I'm just saying, it's just 4 years is still a long time, and it's the little things that are missing. Like someone said today, you can't even go fishing in it. Even if you could just go fishing, it would be something, wouldn't it? You're in the sea and you can't even go fishing. It's the little things like that. I mean, even Stardew Valley, I mean, which is obviously a one person's made that. There's more to it than there is from Rare. You can go fishing in Stardew Valley. You can do all these little things that are missing from Sea of Thieves and Stardew Valley, which was made by one person. Do you know what I mean? It's just they've not given it any life. It feels like it's
I'd still say the blame is attributed. I think I'd still say the blame is attributed to the publisher rather than the developer, though. In my opinion.
Yeah, well, maybe it might be, but I mean, it's still, they still made the game. They still come up with the concepts and the ideas, and all these things is missing, and it's not really good enough. Not just for Sea of Thieves, but any game like that. Do you know what I mean?
Is that down to the way that it's been marketed to you and what you're expecting, though, as well?
I don't think so, because it's the game I knew it would be, but it's just lacking the little things, the life that makes a game, that sets one game apart from another. Like Breath of the Wild, I mentioned that because there was things in that, just the little things. I'm trying to think what they were. I was trying to think the example of what I was thinking, but the little things that you just do in it, and then it just really surprises you.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the one thing that really surprised me about Breath of the Wild, but that's all I mean. It's just, I just wish it had more to it. And in a year's time, it'll be a different game. But by then, it's going to be too late, because everybody's going to be fed up with it in a month or two. And nobody's going to go back to it in a year's time when it's a better game. And it's the same with loads of these games now. I just wish it wouldn't be going that way. But sadly, that is the way it's going. I mean, look at Fortnite, and I mean, I don't really know how that worked. I don't know if you had to pay any money for it. But like, I remember seeing Travis playing it, and it looked like an empty shell of a game to me. And then I came back in and saw Jordan playing it, and it had an update, and all of a sudden there was all this greenery and trees and stuff. It was like, I said to him, well, what's happened here? It was much better than it did a few weeks ago. And he's going, oh, it's the new update or whatever. What the hell? It's got, like I said to someone today, it's got, we're all beta testers now and we're paying for the privilege.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's because A, people are accepting it, and B, because developers can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now, because otherwise it's going to be midnight.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
What have you guys been playing?
I've literally played The Last of Us for purposes of jogging my memory for my dissertation, and that's literally it. Come next week, I would have played something new, because I would have played Far Cry, but for this week, just The Last of Us, and I talked enough about that in the narrative.
Does it still stand up?
Oh yeah, I don't think, for me, I don't think that game will ever be, disappointing or, I guess something where I'm like, oh, this is overdone now. I know what's going to happen. I was playing through the, the bit where you've just gone out of the city and you go into that big building, that massive office building that's falling apart. Yeah. I just played that bit, and I think that's so clever. Like, it literally feels like it used to be a building, and I love that. Like, it doesn't feel like a set piece. It feels like it was once something else, and now it's this. Yeah. I was just playing that, and I was like, I must have played Last of Us now 6 times, and I was playing it, and I was still sort of in awe, even though I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew, the ending of the game. I knew the dialogue that was coming up. I knew where we went next, and I was still playing it, really captivated by what was happening on screen. So I love that game. I feel like if I need a game because basically I'm waiting for a new game to play because I haven't had anything to play since Cube 2, and I'm waiting for Far Cry. So I was like, I'll play Last of Us because that game never gets old.
Yeah, cool.
Okie dokie. Well, as for me, I've had the week off work, and instead of plowing through my backlog as I should have been, I've just been dipping in and out of a handful of games. I made some progress on Hacker's Memory. Played a little bit of Skyrim. I spent quite a while on Ark, as the second TLC patch is being released soon, as it's come out on PC and now it's kind of bleeding into consoles. But it's basically a patch in which kind of older dinos are kind of retextured, and where they've kind of blended into the background amongst all the kind of new dinosaurs they've put in. They're giving them new abilities to make them relevant again, and they look absolutely fantastic. So obviously in the recent map releases, you've seen the kind of capabilities they have now with designing all these dinos, and some of the old ones look so primitive and awfully designed, and it's really nice to see them bringing, seeing the potential in them. It's really, really good. But mostly though, I've been settling into Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, which I am hoping to get reviewed in the next week or so. It depends on when I get it finished, because I do want to get through it. I have been really excited to play it, obviously, after having unwillingly passed up the opportunity on PS3, despite my love for the series. The story so far, I'm really liking it. It's quite dark, and obviously the game itself is quite similar to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. It's obviously naval orientated, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And I will say the only problem I'm having so far is it's hard to adjust after playing Origins, because obviously the free running mechanics feel really clumsy, and it's quite frustrating to start with. But and the graphics obviously don't put a dent in that of Origins, even if they are remastered. But that aside, once you warm to it, it's a really nice game to kind of settle into, and I'm kind of glad I haven't experienced it before now. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. Sounds good. Is that everyone?
Yeah, we've all spoke. It's over to you now, Dan, to tell people about our competitions.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things just to raise quickly. So we are 5 days away from the end of March, I think. So 5 more days to get your SQXO March entries in. So hashtag your PS4 shares with SQXO March. And then at the end of the month, the 4 of us pick our faves and put them up for a public vote. And this month's prize is from Insert Coin. So it's the PlayStation socks and Nathan Drake's scarf. Probably do a retweet of that picture just to remind people. Yeah. So I think that'll be good. Get some final entries in quickly before the end of the month. Make it difficult for us. Also, we have a copy of A Way Out to give away from Monster Shop, which is awesome. So thank you, Monster Shop. If listeners don't know who they are, they're an online retailer specialising in video games based in the UK. Fairly new, but very reliable, great people. So yeah, they've given us a copy to give away, which I'll do a tweet that everyone can retweet and then follow us and them. And we'll pick a winner and announce it on the next podcast.
Nice and simple.
So, yeah, just easy. There's no point making people jump through hoops. Just retweet it, and we'll announce the winner next week. But I've heard a lot of good things about A Way Out. Actually, I
have I.
Yeah, I wasn't excited or bothered about it at all, but I'd quite like to give it a try. So that's an update on our competitions. So yeah, get screenshot sharing and look out for a tweet very soon on the SquareXO account for A Way Out. And that's everything, I think.
Next, we'll just talk about what's coming out next week, or this week even. just a quick run over what's out. It's Far Cry 5, which we all know about, which is out. I don't know, is that out tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow, is it? Yeah. I've got it on rental from Boomerang Games, who you can rent games from. So they've dispatched it to me, so I'll be getting that. So I'm going to check it out. Although I didn't really like Far Cry 3 or 4. I got bored of them pretty quickly. That's the problem. It's a bit like... I just... it's a bit like Grand Theft Auto to me. I just kind of get excited for it, play it, and then I'm bored with it after a while. It doesn't grip me, so hopefully this one will. MX versus ATV, that's coming out as well. Atelier, what's that? Wadia? I don't know. Atelier, we'll just say a new Atelier game's coming out. Don't Starve Megapack. Also Quar Infernal Machines, I don't know what that is, but it's a PS4 and VR game, and The Witch in 100 Night 2. That's it. That's what's coming out. And there's probably some indies as well, like Rascal's Revolt, which I mentioned in my review. And also I think Bridge Constructor Stunts, which I got a code for, so I'll do a review for that. And can't remember. That's it. That's what's in the top of my head.
I think there's a few others.
Yeah,
there's Space Hulk, I think, and I think Pixar is seeing early access tomorrow on Xbox, I think, but
yeah,
I think it's ETA at the moment.
Xbox games. I just mentioned the PlayStation ones, but yeah, there's probably a few indies, but I just read that off. That's basically the retail releases I'm talking about. So any indie releases or whatever's just off the top of my head. So sometimes I forget about them. Okay, and before we wrap up then, don't forget you can follow us on twitter.com/square_XO or on patreon.com/squarexo. We're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, we're on Podbean. And you can also buy lots of our nice merchandise from squarexo.co.uk/merchandise. So yeah, brilliant. So do all that, leave us a nice review, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.